Georgia, Notre Dame. I think this one is much closer, and I think this one has a whole lot more talking points to it.
Yep.
Georgia is only a 1.5 point favorite. Notre Dame actually did open up as the favorite in this one, but it shifted very quickly based on people's betting. But Notre Dame did open this one as the 1.5 point favorite, shifted because of the way people betted. But now Georgia is the 1.5 point favorite in this one. Over under of only 44.5. Zach, Gunner Stockton in this one. Riley Leonard with his ability to run, but he's not really been the best thrower all season, barely over 2,000 yards throwing this year. This is a really interesting game. I think this has all the makings to be kind of a low scoring defensive, kind of beat up bully fight type of deal. What's your thoughts on this one, Zach?
I Oh man, I think Mills being out hurts them. It hurts Notre Dame so much because he was their big guy up front.
I think it changes the way they
And
call their defense too. He was such an integral part.
yeah, and that I, I don't think it means they're definitely going to lose, but I don't think people realize how pivotal he is of a piece he is on defense. Um, if there is a team though in the playoff that can deal with injuries, it's Notre Dame. I mean, they have been just incredible at navigating that offensive line situation. And I will say this, like Georgia, for as highly touted Georgia is defensively, ironically, Arizona State allows 336.9 yards per game. Georgia allows 336.5 yards per game. They allow more rushing yards than Arizona State does. They allow 127.8 yards per game on the ground. Notre Dame loves to run the ball. And while I think Georgia can terrorize you with Jalen Walker and their other edge, I'm blanking on his name right now, but they can terrorize you.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. They can terrorize you up front. Michael Williams.
Yeah, Michael Williams.
And they've got Malachi Starks. I think pass defense can be will be really tough on Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't want to throw the ball. They want to run on you. They want to set you up with the pass so that they can run. And I think that could be the key matchup to this. I mean, it feels dumb to say, but it's like if Notre Dame is able to run with Riley Leonard, with Jeremiah Love, with Price, if they're able to kind of control the clock and run and score touchdowns in the red zone, I think that mitigates some of my concern with the defense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Georgia's defense, and Georgia's defense should be spectacular, right? With all the talent they've been able to acquire and everything else. Now, Georgia did play a very tough schedule this year. As much as we do rag on the SEC, like they did play Tennessee, they played Ole Miss, like they played Texas,
Yep.
like they did have a tough schedule this year. So their numbers don't quite, like if you're looking over here to the side where their numbers are, like their numbers don't quite look great, but
Mm-hmm.
Kirby Smart knows how to get these guys up in big games.
Yeah.
And Gunner Stockton is going to be a hurdle that they have to overcome. But I have to feel like Kirby has a plan for that. He's not going to go into this game thinking Gunner Stockton is Carson Beck and have him throw the ball around. He's going to have a plan for this. And the way I look at this is it comes down to coaching in my mind, right? Can Kirby Smart prove that he's the best coach in the country? Can he prove that by taking down Marcus Freeman, who's made some coaching blunders at his time at Notre Dame, but overall, he's won big games. He beat USC last year, and he's won big games. He had the issue with the 10 men on the field against Ohio State and that kind of stuff, but Marcus Freeman has shown a lot of promise. If Marcus Freeman is able to coach his best game of his, time at Notre Dame wins this game. But Kirby Smart has so much to overcome here. He has to overcome the quarterback situation. He has to overcome a defense that's not been quite as spectacular as maybe you're kind of used to a Georgia defense being this season. He has to overcome one of the best rushing attacks in all of college football with Riley Leonard, all those guys. Like not just the quarterback, but the running backs and the dual threat of the running, not the dual running backs that they're able to put out there as well. There is so much that they have to overcome. But I have to believe Kirby Smart, with this much time, with this much of what he was able to do in the past and the way he was able to game plan and learning from Nick Saban, I have to believe this is going to be one of those closer games. And it just comes down to me, who's the better coach? Marcus Freeman, Kirby Smart. I think everybody says Kirby Smart, but if Marcus Freeman coaches the best game of his career, I think Notre Dame wins this game.
I really want to pull the trigger on Notre Dame. And I think the thing that, and Georgia will be healthy. And I think that is maybe something to consider, is that Georgia is going to be healthier, even with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback, right? Like outside of that, like I think Trevor Etienne will be back. I think he was dinged up throughout the season. Their receivers will be healthy. The thing that really concerns me is there are some coaches where the time off really helps them, and there are some coaches where I'm like, oh man, I don't want Ryan Day off a bye.
Yeah. Saw that against Nebraska. That wasn't so hot.
Yeah. I want Kirby Smart with the bye.
Yeah.
And I think that's particularly with Mills being out on the defensive line. Like you look at Georgia's running attack, it doesn't scare you, right? They're averaging 4.2 yards per carry. But do they
their
do
rushing
some
yards
things
per game is 100th in the country.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
But do they finagle some things where Gunnar Stockton almost in a sense plays like Riley Leonard, where he's more of a zone read type of quarterback to pound away on a weakened defensive line that is going to be lighter. Like they're going to be giving up a lot of weight and a lot of girth in this game. I'm going to give my score prediction. I'm going to go 16-13 Georgia.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's going to be a low scoring one. And this one specifically for what David Greenshield here is pointing out. Does either of these teams really have a good passing game? No. Like even with Carson Beck, Georgia didn't have a great passing game. Riley Leonard, can pass the ball. Obviously, he's thrown for over 2,000 yards this year, but just barely. His threat really is more running the ball in this one, especially with those two running backs and what they're able to do. But the offensive line and the way they've coached them up, as much as I just went into all of the stuff about the coaching and everything else, like I think Kirby Smart is the better coach over Marcus Freeman. But I think in this one, Kirby Smart just has too much to overcome. He has too much to overcome with the defense. He has too much to overcome with Gunnar Stockton and everything else. Unless Gunnar Stockton just goes out there and starts throwing dots that I haven't seen him throw this season, but maybe he starts throwing them. Unless he does that, maybe something's different. But in this one, I think you're going to see a heavy running attack. I think you're going to see Georgia kick some field goals in this one. And I think that Notre Dame, with their running attack, is going to be able to get into the end zone. I think Notre Dame wins this one, 21-20. And I think Marcus Freeman, I think Marcus Freeman has the best coaching job of his career in this game. Is able to outcoach Kirby. Maybe he pulls a fast one on Kirby somehow. I don't know. But I think in this one, you're going to see the conversion in the red zone and the ability to kick the field goal or the ability to not settle for field goals as the reason why Notre Dame wins this game.
I hope you're right, because I want to see death to the SEC. I don't care, but I think I certainly think it's possible. I just wish Mills, if Mills were in, I would probably reverse my score.
But like you said, they've been able to patch up the injuries all season long.
Yeah. And I do think just one more note. I think Marcus Freeman is a better big game coach than he is than he is a small game coach.
Yeah, I agree. He's been able to coach well in the big games. Few blunders here and there, but obviously he's trying to work through those things. I think Notre Dame was favored at the beginning for a reason.
Yep. Nope. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So, all right. Dave Greenshield says 17-16 Georgia. Not really confident in that pick. Yeah, I did not think that I'd be the one with the highest score prediction in this one, 2021, but here I am. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a fun game to watch.